What's going on, Paisanos? V here, and today I have my Shaddoll Invoked deck versus Swordsoul. The deck actually does really good against Swordsoul, and ideally, when we go to an Yu-Gi-Oh event, we want to play against the meta decks as much as possible, because that's going to give us, well, the best chance to break the board and set our board up, and Shaddoll Invoked does the best out of any deck in the game. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the matches and this match and show you what I played and how I played it and why I did my certain moves as I did, and give you a bit of an insight on what I did. So, real quickly, I won the dice roll. I'm going to lead. Now, I get punished because I get greedy. And the thing what Shaddoll Invoked is, it's really hard to not get greedy because there's such an opportunity to do so many great plays. So, right there, I'm going to go Shaddoll Fusion. I'm going to send two of my Shaddoll monsters in graveyard, make an app cologne. One of those is construct, so we're almost there on full. It's not fully everything. I technically could have summoned construct, made a light. I mean, summon my summon my my Shaddoll monster, made a light, and did it that way. But for the most part, it really didn't work out as much. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use Skoma's effect real quickly. It's the same thing as making a light and going construct. I just decided to do this with app clone because this is a little bit different of a situation. We're gonna dump out Wendy, we're gonna special, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to tell my opponent, hey, listen, next turn I'm gonna flip my hedgehog. I'm gonna get value off that. You need to answer this hedgehog. Now I can go ahead and get rid of my Shekanaga, which I'm going to do, and go into a gravity controller, and I'm gonna and this is where things get weird. I could have been a little bit more conservative. I could have grabbed the Schism, discarded a card, or you could send Shaddoll, flip that hedgehog, which I opted to do here, which was the incorrect play, by the way. And the reason why this was the incorrect play is because we didn't have another monster on board in order to make Verde and a Conde. Normally, when you're flipping hedgehog, you want to make Verde and a Conde. But unfortunately, I got greedy, and when you get greedy, you get punished, and that's exactly what happens here. Now, I will say, my opponent did have Imperm in hand, so even if I did have Schism, my Imperm definitely, I definitely would have had a problem with that. Boom, punish immediately. Now, there's nothing I could have done right here. Like I said, I didn't have a chance to really summon another monster and go into a Bird and a Conde, so it really was a huge blow against me. And all I gotta do is set one face down and pass turn, which is definitely what you didn't want to do. I really should have added Schism to my hand, set the Schism, wait till we summon a monster, and then activated my Schism going into a Shaddoll window to lock him out. That would have been the best thing to do. Yes, he did have the Imperm, but then after summoning a monster, he would have had to set the Imperm, we would have had another turn, and that's how we would have got there. So, once again, this is a great example of getting greedy and getting punished. A lot of Shaddoll players, I've noticed, when I watch other Shaddoll matchups, they get greedy and they immediately get punished. Our opponent's going to immediately go ahead and shotgun Desires out the gate. He's going to get value. I actually forgot what's in my hand and what's face down, to be honest with you. But I mean, this was something. This is a board state which I should never have made. I could have made it a lot differently, and like I said, we would have put our opponent on window. We would have had a nice follow through the next turn. We would have been in a great position, but because we made a misplay, it's gonna hurt a lot. And that's the thing when you're playing Shaddolls, you gotta always anticipate what your opponent has. What's the best cards I have in the hand? That's not what you can do. When I went to use my app cologne and I got to use that effect, that immediately told me he didn't have Ash. Why would you not want to Ash app cologne? Obviously you do. So that's what my opponent told me. I didn't have Ash. Now, we didn't know about Forbidden Droplets. We didn't know about Imperm. Those are cards they also could have had, but it's definitely something that could have been a problem. So I'm going to flip up. They're going to be one. There's a little bit of glare. This is why we run it. Once again, another phenomenal floodgate. We slow the game state down to our pace, and that's what we want to do. And they're going to be one. Does such a great job at doing that. So our opponent did a summon. He went to do the reveal, and then we chained only one. So the reveal doesn't. So he doesn't get to bring the token out. And that's another thing that I really should have did it on the summon, to be honest with you. But ultimately, I don't think it mattered in this situation. If my opponent did do a reveal, actually, and he had that, now, once again, Swordsoul, I'm really bad with the name, but the quick play spell card that lets you add another worm, I would have gotten punished from that. So I definitely should have did it on the summon, not the effect. That's something else that I think that I could have improved on. But these are the things that we learn together at Shaddoll plays. We're always learning. We're always getting better. That's the thing about Shaddolls and a lot of other decks. Shaddolls is a deck that continually teaches you, helps you learn and get better as a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh player. A lot of decks will have like a ceiling, and I feel like Shaddolls have such a high ceiling, it really doesn't matter. Now, opponent's playing Small World, which is totally fine for us. We really don't mind as much at the moment. What our opponent's going to do is he's going to banish his monster, and I believe at this point he adds an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring to his hand, which is definitely an issue, to be honest with you. So he's going to get rid of his Moye and add that Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, and that is a huge issue. That was actually a huge card he added in his hand. I believe he has now only 2 cards in hand, if I'm not mistaken. Once again, with the desires and adding and doing Small World, that ideally would put us in a better position, but I don't think our draws were that good, to be honest with you, in this game. Once again, They're Gonna Be One is definitely a great card and definitely sets our opponent back a bit. His board state is not that good. I did do a misplay in this game, and I'll talk about it. Gravity Controller. So I never really think about Gravity Controller because it never stays on the board long enough. But Gravity Controller cannot be destroyed by monsters in the main monster zone. So he can attack all day long, and my Gravity Controller will take damage, but I would still take 1,000 less every swing. Which, once again, that was on my mistake. I actually didn't fully read my cards because, the meme. Yu-Gi-Oh player, reading cards. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and activate Foolish Burial. He does have Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring here. I'm not sure if he's going to activate it on this, but I'm basically going to try to bait it out, I believe. I'm not 100% sure what I try to do here. I can send Hedgehog, add a Shaddoll monster, summon that Shaddoll monster, and try doing that. So I sent Beast to do a draw, and the reason why I decided to opt to do this is because the amount of cards we can draw. There's so many things. We could draw Magical Meltdown, we could draw Alistair, we could draw a Shaddoll monster, and these things that we could have done. I really definitely think, so that was the risk and another gamble I'm taking, because I don't know why I didn't decide to do it in this game. It was a really risky game, and once again, I'm pretty sure I've gotten punished for this. Had I made a normal summon, had I went into Predator Perverted Anaconda with the limited amount of cards in his hand, I'm pretty sure that Anaconda would have worked. Once again, you can't link summon Gravity Controller the turn it's brought out, but you can link summon it afterwards. And this is something I should have done, and I didn't do. And this is, once again, me getting punished again. This is what Shaddoll does, though. It teaches you every single time. Don't take the risk. They have how many cards in hand. Analyze their board state. Analyze your board state. Look how many Doll monsters in your graveyard. Do you want to take the risk of drawing a random card and hopefully getting there? Or do you want to send a Hedgehog to the graveyard? This is why you play 2, by the way. To add a Shaddoll monster, summon that Shaddoll monster, go ahead and Anaconda, and make your board. What do you want to do? And definitely, the correct play was definitely doing that. Now, once again, like I said, my opponent had an Ash from Joyous Spring in hand. I was pretty sure if I added a monster, I would have gotten negated. The fact that he let Beast go through was kind of shocking to me, because I'm pretty sure I would have not let that go through, being the fact that I had so many few cards in hand. But my opponent, I decided to let that go through, which kind of caught me off guard, to be honest with you. So opponent's basically just going to combo off over here. I think they could play around a lot of stuff. They're going to swing. Okay, so I think this was the game after I figured out about Gravity Controller. Nevertheless, my opponent's activating Chalice on my Gravity Controller, so it's going to be sent to the graveyard. I'm going to be taking less damage, but I do lose the Gravity Controller. And once again, like I said, the game state is really, really simplified, which is ideal for us Doll players. Unfortunately, I couldn't draw the cardboard. The thing about Shaddoll I always find out, by the way, is there's so many quick plays I can make. I could shotgun this play, shotgun that play, and at times, and let me know, comment down below if this happens to you, but at times when I do the kind of crazy plays, like I just shotgun immediately, I always want it regretting it. If not always regretting it, I always felt like if I just gave it some more time, if I gave it more thought, I could have made a more optimal board. And even as a Yu-Gi-Oh player, but Shaddoll's is definitely... it's definitely one of those decks in which I feel like had I held my cards, had I thought about it, had I analyzed the board state, my graveyard, my opponent's graveyard, my banish, my opponent's banish, my hand, my opponent's hand, my board, my opponent's board, analyze all that, I can make a better play. And unfortunately, in this game, as you see a couple of times over here, I did not do the best play, and I do get punished for it. And I really want to emphasize that a lot. So I'm supposed to go tribute 2 for a face down card, and it's kind of interesting. They're going to go ahead and pass their turn. And every turn pass against this deck is an opportunity for Shaddoll's. And once again, like I said, I definitely didn't draw the right cards. I definitely got to cut my hands more. When you're doing remote duels, you really want to cut your hands more so your opponent doesn't see what you have. I'm going to send another card face down. I believe it's another They're Going to Be One. I could be wrong. But overall, I mean, I'm drawing poop and I'm getting pooped on. So in my deck, I'm just thinking about it. In my deck, what do I have? I have Magical Meltdown, so I'll get me to my Alistair. My opponent has an Ash. If it lets Magical Meltdown go through, I will set my Ash. My Ash. I'll set my Alistair face down, and what that's going to do is force my opponent to swing. Then I can go ahead and add Invocation. They can't Ash boss him, and we will start getting back in the gas. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but that was definitely an opportunity. Opponent's gonna go and flip summon a monster. Summon an Ash, summon Joyous Spring right here. And this is where we just really just get absolutely bodied. Someone commented, I must be bricking, and yeah, I definitely bricked this game, unfortunately. It does happen. You know, in Yu-Gi-Oh, every deck has that chance to not draw the best cards. So opponent's gonna go ahead and go into Baron, and we're just gonna slowly get just blown out right here. I'm just gonna fast forward some of this because it's just us. It's just also opponent just beating us with Baron, and it's super unfortunate. But like I said, it happens. There's not much that can be done. Yeah, opponent just works us in this game just because we just couldn't draw the right cards. So I'm gonna go ahead and side, and my rule of thumb normally with Shaddoll is you always want to side 6 in, 6 out. That's my rule of thumb. There are times where I do 9, there are times when I do 3, but ideally I'm most happy when I'm doing at least 6 cards. And then you gotta always question yourself when you're siding with dolls. Depending on the game state, depending if you're going first or second, you're questioning what is good to put in. And what's the best card? Do you want to put in, do you want to take out El-Shaw Fusion? And not all of them, but I mean like 1 or 2 of them, to make room for better cards. And if that's the case, why? You always gotta be questioning yourself. If I'm going first, obviously I'm keeping there gonna only be 1 in the deck. If I'm going second, there gonna be 1 normally comes out, because if we're going second, we especially against Swordsoul, you really don't want to keep that card in. So it really depends on the game state as far as siding. And like I said, I usually side relatively quickly. It's more of a, the more you play, the faster you side, because you know what you're playing against. You know game 1 or game 2 how I'm swapping out. So that's what I do in this situation. And yeah, people keep calling it board sold. Okay, so I'm already ready. I'm just waiting for my opponent. He's doing the cut for days, and this game 2 is a lot different than game 1, and you're gonna see a complete difference. So I'm gonna go ahead and activate Magical Meltdown, do the best play in Yu-Gi-Oh, summon Alistair, activate Alistair effect, and it doesn't matter if you stop Alistair. Most people stop Alistair, which ideally is correct if my hand was crap. So he's gonna go ahead and imprint my Alistair, and to me, like I said, it doesn't matter whatsoever. I always try to offer the cut, by the way. It's remote duels. I always try to be a gentleman and offer the cut. But we're not even done yet. We still got plays. So we're gonna go Prosperity. And look, like I said, I hate this card, but in this situation, this card can get you there. You know, depending on what's in my hand, it can get me the full combo, and Prosperity is really good for that. Now, once again, I always do 3 Prosperity. I don't do 6. I've seen people say, "Oh, I do 6 of Prosperity." Yeah, no, I don't. Prosperity, think of Prosperity like a better version of Duality. Opponent takes half damage, it's turn 1, doesn't really matter. And we can't draw a card. Sure, I can't use Beast Effect. That's it. Other than that, I'm going to be getting rid of 3. Now, my Prosperity targets are always different depending on the game state. If I have, oh, that's pretty nice. We're going to go ahead and add Wendy in this situation, if I'm not mistaken. And that's going to get us full combo. Okay, so you're going to see the combo actually go in real time happen right here. But yeah, I'll probably do another video talking more about Prosperity depending on the game state. I think that's the best way to really analyze it. We're going to get rid of Alistair. We're going to go ahead and bring our Artemis. That's our light target. People like to read Artemis. I always go like, it's a vanilla target. It doesn't really matter. I just need a vanilla target. We're going to go Eldal. And once again, there's Wendy. There's a light target. That's going to give us Construct. And this is the kind of basic play. But this play is massive for us doll players. So we got to have Construct having to send. We're going to have Wendy set. Wendy's going to set Shaddoll Hedgehog, and Construct is going to send either the trap itself, Shaddoll, or Shaddoll Squamata, and then send the trap, depending on what's in my hand. So I'm just looking at what's in my graveyard, trying to get a good understanding. Okay, so we're going to send the trap. Normally, you want to send Squamata and then send the trap. I might have Squamata in hand already. I could be wrong. Then we're going to immediately go ahead and shotgun that. We're going to go ahead and banish Wendy. We're going to flip Hedgehog. And, I mean, we're just driving all gas right now. We're going to go ahead and use Hedgehog effect. Add the Shaddoll Schism to our hand. And we got 2 targets to go into Averna and Akane if we want to. Also, the minute we get rid of our Construct, we're going to add that Eldal back to our hand. So, once again, we are cooking on all cylinders here. If we do have the Fusion card to bring out Phoenix Enforcers, you can still get rid of Construct. And by getting rid of Construct, you add Eldal. So I think that's what I do here. Okay, yeah. So we're going to go ahead and go Gravity Controller, get Construct. And look at our board state, by the way. We have Eldar to bring out a Winda, and we have Schism to bring out a Winda. On our opponent's turn, it's going to be our turn. We're going to have the ability to do double Winda. So I'm going to go ahead and bring our Phantom Force over here, and that's probably the reason, and that's definitely the reason why I didn't want to go into Anaconda. And that's probably one of the targets, by the way, I banished when I played Prosperity. Yes, had he had Ash, would he stop it? Absolutely. But if he had Ash, he probably would have stopped Prosperity, to be honest with you. That's probably a better thing to stop. Then we're going to set 3, and we're just good to go. Once again, we got double Wind on board. We got our Phantom Enforcer. I believe we have also, they're going to be 1. Our opponent is not doing anything, despite the fact that we got hit with an Imperm this turn. Our opponent has a hand of 5 cards, and it's always important to understand how many cards in hand. And this game is about wrapped up. I mean, I know it. My opponent doesn't know it yet, but unless he has, man, you got to have Imperm. You better have double Forbidden Droplets. Actually, no, you're going to use 1. Never mind. Forbidden Droplets, a Kaiju, and somehow your Swordsoul combo. To me, mentally, this game is over. It's done. By the way, sorry if I talk a lot. When it comes to Shadolls, I think so much about it because there's so many things. So Harvard's gonna activate in the hand, and we're gonna shotgun the first. Show Schism, and I'm just going over what I'm gonna be banishing because I definitely want to do dark targets in this situation. Excuse me. I believe. Actually, we'll see what I do here. I think the ideal play was to get rid of 1 on board and 1 in graveyard. Because, I mean, I technically always want to keep Construct for Apcalone, but in this situation, you kind of got to get rid of it. I should not have gotten rid of Hedgehog. I should have gotten rid of the Gravity Controller. And the reason why is because keeping Hedgehog on board would have net me a +1 when I Eldar. So that was definitely a misplay. It's a very minuscule misplay in the grand scheme of things. We still have game. But getting a +1 is something you always want to do with dolls. And Hedgehog definitely would have got me something like maybe a Squamata or something else. We're gonna get slapped down with a Dark Rule No More, and it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't matter. Cool, Dark Rule No More. You still need to answer the other window I have, and you still need to answer the trap, which you don't know what it is if they're gonna be 1. So we're still putting our opponent in a really tough spot. So the opponent's gonna link something to a Tenyi, and at this point, I have to go ahead and get rid of the Tenyis. Actually, no, actually, I can't get rid of Tenyis. We're under Dark Ruler. Actually, I figured it out in 2 seconds. Hold on 1 second. I'm on a Dark Ruler. My mind was always thinking about all the things we can do. So I'm going to reset that back in 2 seconds. I forgot about Dark Ruler No More. It's been a while since it's been played against me. It's been a while since it's been played against me. What we're going to do what we're going to do is we're going to wait till my opponent does proc a special summon, which our players always, they proc the special summons. So our opponent's going to go ahead and bring on the Tenyi, and at this point, we're gonna hit him with that Eldar fusion. We're gonna get rid of Gravity Controller, and like I said, I really wish I was a Hedgehog. It would have been a +1, plus Winda in graveyard would have got another Eldar. So we would have needed another card anywhere to potentially proc another play. Nevertheless, we're gonna go ahead and add that Eldar back to our hand. Our Winda is live on board. Our opponent's in a really tough spot. We can flip up. They're gonna be 1 right now, but the game's pretty much over. Our opponent pretty much is kind of done for this. In this situation, we're just trying to see what they have. Like I said, if they had Forbidden Droplet, cool. I still have more, and that's the point of like Shadolls. It's always the minute I get to start and get my engine going, the game's over. Like the game is. I'm gonna choke you, lock you in my hands, and snap the neck. Like that's what Shadolls does, and it does it really well. So opponent's gonna activate and add a Swordsoul monster, Moye. I believe he's banishing Moye. Oh, he's doing Vishuda. And this is a really cool play. Our opponent, you know, with Small World. I mean, Small World's a really broken card, to be honest with you. But after it adds the Vishuda, I know he's gonna try to put that down. I'm flipping down to 1, and I'm ending this game immediately. I had everything, and we're gonna go to game 3 because game 3 is kind of unfortunate because it was an opportunity for me to break my opponent's board, and we didn't get there, unfortunately. So I shuffle a lot, by the way. Let's see, we have it here. And if you want to see the Shaddoll Deck profile I play in this tournament, it's on this channel. It's actually the video before, so go check out the Shaddoll Deck profile. I go over my details and reasons why I play certain cards, and yeah. So opponent's doing their ideal board. Now, this ideal board isn't hard to get over, believe it or not. The Swordsoul board is not difficult whatsoever. He's going to go ahead. He has his Baron. He has the other Effect Veiler version of a card. And these aren't really scary cards in the eyes of a Shaddoll player. It's just not. It doesn't really do anything. We do lose this game, and I'll say why. And Konami, please ban this card. But we would have broke this board. I'm super convinced we would have broke this board. It's not a hard board to break, and it definitely would have put us in a driver's seat the following turn. Our opponent they didn't have this turn. So we know our opponent has a follow-up. That's our opponent's basically signaling to us that they have follow-up, which is very important to understand. You want to know if you break your opponent's board, can they do things? And our opponent did have follow-up, and it was really unfortunate. If our opponent didn't have this one card, like I said, we would have won this game easily. No doubt in my mind. So much for turn. Once again, we have 6 cards in our hand. This is why I don't really play hand trust. I want to have as many cards in my hand to maximize what I can do against my opponent. And like I said, I'm looking at my hand. It was really spicy. So I'm going to pause when I show my hand. What I'm going to do is I'm going to blind Cosmic Cyclone. And I'll explain why I did that in a second. But the reason why I want to blind Cosmic Cyclone is because I want our opponent to, you know, sweat a little bit. Once again, they flip up Imperial Order, and it's GG. Hold on a second. I hate Imperial Order. In this tournament, I lost the previous round to Imperial Order in Game 3. And I lose to Imperial Order again. Every Swordsoul player draws it against me. Every Swordsoul player draws it against me. Every single one. Yeah. You should be mad. You should be mad. That card should be banned. One card negates all the spells in Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, you should be mad. Yeah, I would be mad too. Anyway, let me see when I show my hand. I'll pause the video quickly. Okay, so what I had here is Meltdown, Alistair, Invocation. Now, this is massive, and it might not look like a big deal, but if our opponent only had one set, let's say he didn't have Imperial Order, say it was another card, and they only did have one card set down, that means our Lightning Storm was going to go through unless our opponent stopped it with Baron, the Cosmic Cyclone. If our opponent stopped Cosmic Cyclone with Baron on their back row, which more than likely is Blackout, well, that means our Lightning Storm would have cleared their monsters, and we would have full reign. Yes, our opponent would have had a follow-up, but we would have had so much in... Like when you open an Alistair Invocation, that's 2 invoked monsters on board. And with our opponent's graveyard, and with our field, what we can do, it's absolutely insane. I mean, you know, Baron is light, so we can go ahead and make the light version, the light invoked monster, and raging against any one of those, a lot of those sorts of cards is absolutely huge. Of course, we could have followed up also with a Mechaba. That's also huge. We would have activated Magical Meltdown. We would have gotten an Alistair on hand. So now we had a monster for the Mechaba to negate. You understand? These were huge cards in our hand. We definitely would have been able to break the board. And I think that's something that, unfortunately, we just couldn't do because of Imperial Order. One card stops us. And it's unfortunate, but it's the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Hopefully we do have a ban list. Hopefully IO's in it. Comment down below. Let me know what card you want in the ban list. But listen, Shaddoll's in Game 2 did what Shaddoll's needed to do. It put up multiple ways to put a window on board. It put up multiple ways to stop up from playing. And every single time, we won that exchange. Every exchange in Game 2. Game 1 was full of a bunch of misplays. And Game 3 shows what should be hitting the ban list. I'm going to be doing more of these Shaddoll videos. I would love it if you subscribe to the channel. Check it out. I have a ton of Shaddoll videos. I'm going to be doing Striker videos and Drytron videos. Those are decks I really do love playing. And I enjoy playing. So I'll have those videos coming up soon on this channel. So if you want to see those videos, make sure to hit the subscribe button, like button, comment down below. It's your boy V, and Ygopaisano. Ygopaisano, have a great day.